So if I was talking to somebody who was contemplating action learning facilitator training, I would say that it's a very grounding experience in terms of understanding the role of facilitator and how a group works together. Prior to the training, I'd been working both as a facilitator in the leadership field, specifically as part of a large leadership program in the cultural and creative sector. My role in these programs was as a facilitator, and I very much enjoyed working with groups. Yet sometimes I found that if leadership was in my title, I felt I had to act a certain way. I had to be someone whose role in that group was to persuade and inspire and motivate and encourage in a very direct way. So the experience of action learning changed this for me. It was no longer about just my performance, but about a group working together to solve their own professional and organisational dilemmas. So training further in action learning gave me two things. Firstly, it gave me ample opportunity to reflect on the subtle processes involved in enabling a group to work effectively. And secondly, it helped me understand more deeply the process someone goes through in creating change for themselves or the context they're working in. I would say it showed me that action learning and the particular elements of it, the core elements of it, were very useful in leading organisations. I learned, I sort of hung on to these principles I got from Atwood, which were very helpful because I found myself doing, being this. I found myself when I was leading, thinking, I'm doing something different now. And when I looked at it, I thought, well, these are the things that I think I'm doing differently now, having gone through the action learning process. And the first thing was, I was listening more. So I was beginning, situations or working with teams by engaging in listening. Secondly, I was approaching it from much more humility, really. I was approaching it from a position of not knowing and not making assumptions and having much more openness in how I approached their situation. I asked a lot more questions, open questions, insightful questions that was helping them to reflect on their situation. And I also felt that we were in a shared journey together, a shared learning endeavour. I would say in terms of the tangible impacts on my professional life, well, I still work sometimes as a creative artist and I'm still very much a facilitator. But my work as a facilitator has grown and become more defined. I'm also a coach, accredited coach, and so the practice and skill of asking insightful questions is a real core part of my practice there. And I've developed very good habits of listening and reflections as core parts of what I do and how I do it. I no longer feel I've got to be the leader with all the answers and be in control all of the time. But I do craft questions for myself, and I craft questions for the team that I'm working with. Leadership is not a person or a position. It is a complex moral relationship between people based on trust, obligation, commitment, emotion, and a shared vision of the good. And I think that quote sums up for me the main impact of action learning. Understanding that leadership is about relationship, leadership as relationship.